You know what I found out in this business? A lot of people don't have talent, but they got the desire.
And the drive.
And they're willing to go far and beyond.
Hustle the person that could sing, out-sing, rap, whatever, everybody.
Who do you feel is like that?
Come on. Hey, this guy's good. He said it with a serious face.
Every time somebody, I gotta find out who the days are. I'm on a quest.
This Hoffa, trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard. Told Jim I need a bomb I could drop on you niggas. Bad boy, I'm never gonna stop for you niggas. I don't give a fuck who you got is the illest. I solidify my spot with gorillas. Now I'm rock with you niggas.
We back. My expert opinion, episode 104, and I'm guessing because Space is in here. But shout out to the guys that's in the building. Shout out to the guys. Shout out to all the subscribers. If this is your first time watching, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit the share, let everybody know you in here. Don't cost you no paper unless you's a mother hater. Of course, I got S. I'm on a little night. Heineken and Esso were in the building.
We're in the building.
My guys, back fuel. You know what it is.
Things.
Oh, man. So I invited one legend, and he invited another. So we have...
It's the takeover.
It's the takeover. It's the Brooklyn takeover. It's the Brooklyn takeover. I got Big Daddy Kane in the building and Omar Epps. Give it up, y'all. Oh man, where do you start? Like, where do you start? How's everybody's week been?
Good.
It's cold. It's cold right now.
Yeah, it's cold.
Oh, my man went to the Elite Eight. Shaheen Holloway, my best friend in the entire world, Coach St. Peter's to the Elite Eight. Congratulations.
Salute.
Yeah, salute to him. Salute to him.
Me and Mav chopped it up.
Yeah.
You know, I've been a fan of his for years.
Right.
As I
Appreciate
told
it.
you, and just the culture, battle
Right.
rap culture, and then how you pivoted and what you guys are doing. You know, I don't say much, but I watch everything.
Right.
So I was just like, yo, come through, chop it up. You know,
Yo,
we made it happen.
This is one of my OGs, surprise, secret recipe. You know what I'm saying? Kind of came up under his wing. You know what I'm saying? My big bro Jeff over there, Shane over there. This is all family. That way, in something that like people never knew about. You know what I'm saying? I learned so much from this man right here, just observing. You know, the way he moved, the way he do certain things, and kind of took, you know, so you obviously you want to carve your own path.
Right.
But you take the strengths, it's like a video game, like, oh, I could
Take
get that,
that,
and get this, and do that, and kind of mold it into my own thing. So.
Nah, he telling the truth. Plenty of nights, and days, in the house, I see this brother and, we chop it up and go through it, man. And I'm just so proud of him and what he's done with his career. Watching from the beginning stages until where, it evolved to, yeah, man, you did your thing, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
You're still doing it.
Now, this is a beautiful thing, because nowadays you don't see too many OGs, like, helping the young brothers out. There's like a huge disconnect, especially in hip hop, with like the drill artists and the boom bappers and all that. Like, there's no connection.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think that, me personally, I think that that's to keep the younger generation misinformed.
Mm-hmm.
When I came into the industry, I had cats like Jalil from Houdini, Rick James, Barry White, you know, that I'm talking to, and they giving me game. They telling me how this music business work, what to look out for, you know, what not to do, and things of that nature.
Right.
You know, then after me, you know, I mean, I sat down in Unique Studios with Nas, you know what I'm saying, giving them game. Took Jay-Z on the road with me, you know what I'm saying, before he made records, you know.
Dope.
Shaheem from Wu-Tang, took him on the road, you know,
ODB.
you know, stuff like that. Yeah, ODB, you know, giving them game. But, you know, it's like, you know, now it's like, it's the type of situation where the younger generation look at the older generation as bitter ass haters, you know, and the older generation look at the younger generation as young cats that think they know everything and their music is trash.
Right.
Where there's nobody, you know, really, you know, sitting with somebody younger, telling them the do's and don'ts, what to look out for, asking them, yo, won't you try this, you know?
Right.
And I think that that's on purpose, you know, so that they're misinformed,
Right.
not educated about this industry, so that they can get, because I mean, you think about it, it's like back then we was doing like anywhere from like 3 to 5 album deals.
Right.
Now you know, if someone does sign to a label, which I don't know what the fuck you would do that for in the first place at this point in time.
Right.
But if someone does, it's normally a 1 album deal, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I think to add on to that, the other thing is communication. Like that's the main thing, is how to communicate to the youngsters, right? And I think there's a deeper thing there where it's like there's a lot of cats that's dead and gone, or they locked up. If you locked up, you dead and gone anyway, right? And so there was this chasm of this whole generation of older cats that was just gone.
Missing.
So we outside, we got to figure it out on our own.
Right.
And this is how we figured it out, given the circumstances that is on the table.
Right.
And then some cats is coming home, or some cats, you know, it wasn't outside, so to say. And they don't want to listen to that because they're like, yo, we had to figure out how to do it this way. But the whole thing is we in this together. You see what I'm saying? Everything that Kane just said is beautiful because it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it meant the world to me to have him here. So now we at this point in life where I could show my secret soul of one of my OGs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is part of why I got to this point.
Right.
Having his knowledge and just observing conversations that he don't even remember. He was just being himself.
But it
like,
meant
yo,
a lot to you.
It meant the world to me.
To me, yeah.
Because it's teaching me. You know what I'm saying? He was teaching the whole time. He was teaching. You know what I'm saying? And me, I'm a good student. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's the thing as far as on the younger generation, they got to be willing to listen.
Right.
I was gonna say that.
You see what I'm saying?
Because the game changed. I didn't want to cut you off, but the game changed, right? And because the game changed and there's so much World Wide Web out there, they think they could Google it, so they know now. But they don't understand that the people who've gone through it have laid the path down, and they know the kinks and everything to help you get around the potholes and the pitfalls.
Right.
But it's not sexy no more. See, when Nas and them was coming up, it was dope because it was a secret society. Nobody knew nothing. They needed Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane was the one, yo, I bust down the walls. I'm doing records with Patti LaBelle, doing this and that. Who's not gonna listen to him, right? But now, since you can just throw your records up, you don't need to worry about mixing. They're not caring about lyrics and all that.
You don't need to worry about mixing.
No, you should worry about mixing.
So why do I need to talk to you, homeboy?
Because
I'm not even doing what y'all was once doing. I'm doing it
because they under the spell of the illusion of independence. It's an illusion. If you really trying to get to a certain level, that web is gonna have you locked in. Period. When it comes to the music thing.
Right.
There is independence out there, and you see certain artists out there that's just like, why would I take this bag if I'm making $2 million a year and you offer me 20, that means you think you're gonna make 60. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's simple math. So why I could just keep doing this and building my catalog and things like that to where in 10 years from now, you know, in between I'm signing artists and I'm putting everybody in position.
I might have 100 in 10 years.
You see what I'm saying?
You know, it's like this, man. You know, right now everybody's seeing the glory and not the grind.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, That's what's happening. You know, you look like what you said, like you can Google, go on YouTube. Okay, you looking, you seeing someone, you know, bragging about this bag they got, bragging about what they whooping. You know, it's just, but you know, it's like, you know, no one, they're not showing the grind though.
Right.
So everybody thinking that this success is supposed to happen overnight.
Immediately.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not realizing how long this person been trying to get on, what they done been through, how they done been jerked, and you know, things of that nature.
Right.
You said that you was, you know, showing the ropes to Nas and Hov, but at that time, hip hop was so young that the age gap between everybody ain't that much. Now, when you look at it, you got older dudes, and some of them have a little bit of animosity because when hip hop wasn't making that money. Now, a 16-year-old can make $7 million. What's a 45-year-old going to tell him that he even make $1 million? And we've said that before. He gonna be like, I did what you ain't do, like Esso said. So the gap is there, and then you got older dudes that's probably like, I ain't gonna give him no game. I ain't where I'm at.
Well, is there a kind of regret for some of the OGs of the game that, damn, we paved the way, but we not eating the way everybody's eating right now?
I mean, I would assume that a lot of cats from my era and maybe even the era before me, that they may have, you know, that type of feeling. I would assume. I mean, see me, you know, I mean, I grew up with that understanding that, you know, the greatest player in the NBA wasn't making no dough from the NBA. He was making it all from Jordans, from sneakers.
Right.
His dough was coming from the sneakers.
Right.
You know, he ain't get that big check until that last time he came back.
Yeah.
You know, so many young players. So it's like, you know, with that understanding, you know that that's just the way it go. You know, I mean, it's like, and I'm pretty sure that the little bit of money that Jordan was complaining about around 1990, Dr. J probably made, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, maybe like 20% of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, that's just the way it goes. So I never, you know, really looked at it like, you know, this new cat right here, he garbage, man, and I should have been making this type of money. Nah. I mean, that's just the way it goes. You know, hip hop was new. It wasn't, you know, a commercial thing then. It wasn't, you know, considered popular music, you know, when I was doing it. Now it is. It's the biggest selling genre. So, you know, yeah, these cats gonna get that bag. I'm just happy to see them young dudes eating. You know?
But you would be, because you're still successful. You're still doing shows. You transcended decades, right?
Decades.
So you're not
50 years old.
Yeah, but you're not like them. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
because you still had the success and people still revere you, like when you walked in the door, like even Matt, like, oh, Big Daddy's here. People
Kane.
still revere you. They still care.
Right.
You know
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
you know,
saying?
without the shows, you know, without the popularity, I still ain't like them.
I got it.
It's real shit.
Wow. Now I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Cause he used to rap.
I didn't know that.
Is that where the coaching started?
What do you mean?
He used to rap. Was he coming to you like, yo, how these bars sound?
He would kick stuff for me. Yeah, he definitely would kick stuff for me.
What
yeah.
you think?
Huh?
What you think?
He was never.
I thought he was dope.
He was never impressed.
He was never impressed.
That's like Luke Skywalker coming in with the lightsaber trying to talk to Yoda.
Right, Yoda's
And
like,
Yoda's talking backwards, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're not just, you know,
Yeah,
we
do
in there
that.
floating in the clouds, you down there playing in the dirt.
Right.
Keep working. Keep working.
I be sitting there, hot your balls or not? Nah, he was dope. He was dope.
Right.
You know, it's like it's just certain things that I just like to do with people where I see something. Like, you know, where like because with him, it was like the style and like his words, like he used a lot of big words, you know. So like I really wanted to like really see him have a little more fun with it.
Right.
You know, but I mean, with what he did, he was dope. You know, I thought he was
You was
dope.
a vocabulary man. You was a vocabulary
yeah.
man.
He had a big vocabulary.
Why you ain't never do a record with the Tupac then when y'all was on Juice?
Man, Pac was writing his first album when we did Juice, and
Yeah.
you know, I tell people, I was 17 years old. I was a baby. Think about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've literally got posters on the wall of Kane and Vogue and everybody that I like. You know what I'm saying? New Edition.
In Vogue, I like that one.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I'm in the movie.
Well, that's why I said I
with
like
Shorty.
that one.
And I'm like, it's not even real to
Real.
me. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? And so I was just so young, and Pac was a different type of dude. Pac was one of them, you know, you meet certain people. I met Gazelle and Kane is one of them. When they walk in the room, the energy shifts.
Shifters, yeah.
And Pac was just different on a different level, and he was writing his first album. And he was doing the digital. That's when he was dancing digital
underground, yeah.
But he literally, like, though I had never experienced that before, but what I'm about to say is like, one day we on the set, we filmed up here in Harlem,
Right.
in the chutzpah. This is pre-internet, social media, all of this convenient camera shit. No, this is when it was outside and it happened, right? And a woman had thrown her baby down the trash. We all from where we from. It's sad to say, but that was kind of normal.
Yeah.
To us.
Yeah,
Like,
at the time.
you heard about stories like that, right?
Right.
Pop was fucked up. Like the whole day, because it was in the newspapers in the morning.
Right.
He was just like, I can't believe she did that. And I was just like this every day. Like,
Right.
You know
This
what I'm saying?
happens.
And by lunchtime, he was like, yo, come in the trailer. And he started spitting this rhyme for me, right? He's spitting, and I'm like, and I'm not catching it though. I'm listening to it, but I'm not catching it. 6 months later, his album come out.
Brenda's got a
I hear
baby.
Brenda's got a baby.
I knew you were gonna say that. Brenda's got a baby.
And my mind was blown because I wasn't even present enough and aware enough to know that's what was happening.
Right.
And that's when I knew his greatness.
And that happened
You
on
see
the
what I'm saying?
on the set of Juice.
On the set of Juice.
Nigga spit Brenda's got a baby on the set of Juice.
And I'm not even,
It's
what
lit.
I'm saying is, I'm
Why
not
you
even
ain't asking
catching it.
yo, let me
I'm
do
not
the
even,
second verse.
Yo, that
got the second verse.
He was Pop, Pop was,
That would have been
Pop was
crazy.
a different dude. He was just on his path, and
Right.
it's just incredible to what people don't think about with Tupac and Biggie, for that matter.
Okay.
You know, Tupac was 19 when we did Juice. He passed at 25.
Right.
Think about that. Everything that we know of him artistically happened in that span
6
of time.
years.
You know what I'm saying? My son is 14. I got a 17-year-old and a 22-year-old. So I can't even, the way that I think about it now is totally different. Like, yo, this man did all of this in this amount of time.
Yeah.
That's how locked in he was. Almost. And the one thing about Pac that used to kind of rub me different was, it was like he knew there was a ticking clock. The way that he would operate with himself and doing things, it was like this urgency. I'm 17, so I'm 2 years younger than him. I'm like, yo, let's kick up our feet and have fun. Like,
Right.
why you rushing? Let's just go do this. Let's go where the girls at. You know what I'm saying? And he was just
There was more to get to.
You know, so it's like, that's how you know the spirit is real.
Yeah.
He knew I'm in this body right now, but I gotta get these things accomplished because it's almost like he was tapped into something, a different frequency.
Right.
And you felt it when you was around him. You know what I'm saying? I miss that brother for real. Because I often try to imagine in my mind, damn, what if Pac was here? Like, I be saying,
Yeah,
yo,
like, well,
if Tupac had an IG, do you know
Twitter.
crazy?
what would it be like?
His DMs
What would
would
he be now?
Who
would he be now?
I think he would have I think he would have definitely delved into, community politics, not necessarily like politics like on a national level, but community, like where Barack started, right?
Right.
We started in the mud. And I think Pac would have did that, and he would have had the ear of the people, because he already did. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
stuff that he was talking about, I mean, he was, in a way, one of your babies, because we used to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? The people that inspired me and him used to talk, the people that inspired him.
Right.
He'd be like, yo, Kane got that. He would be able to dissect, like I said, take these pieces and dissect, and yo, from Rakim, I got this, and this one, I got that. But
Yeah.
Pac had something different because of what he came from and what God's purpose was for him to be here, coming from, God bless his mother, Afeni. And so he's coming with this whole revolutionary mindset. And when you go back and look at it now this stuff look normalized. When he was doing what he was doing musically and in the press, you had never seen nothing like that before back then.
Shooting at cops and all that other wildness.
Not even just that,
Not
just the way that he would
cops.
speak.
Right.
The way that he would speak, he was holding society's feet to the fire. And he was leaning into blackness and who we are. And I believe that Kane did that. Kane did it, you did it, I'm saying Kane like you're not here, but you did it in a more of a poetic way where you had to have the knowledge to catch it.
Right.
And then Pac was kind of had that, but a little bit of that fuck the police in him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to just say
I think Pac was more the Jesus that hung with the thieves. You know what I'm saying?
You never in rap history, you never heard somebody say, even though you was a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. You never heard nothing like that before.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
And that was a line that, when you heard it, you was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Mad people could relate to that. And then when you
Pac was
talk about,
definitely a message.
I remember
what I'm
playing
saying?
Keep Your Head Up for my mother when we was going through it with my step-pops. That meant a lot. And like years later, I made my own version of the song, but I attributed how I felt to, like I told the story of playing that record for my mother.
Right.
And what it did and the strength that it gave us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that meant a lot.
I think the intensity is so profound how you breaking it down, because one of the most iconic scenes is that elevator scene with you and Pac and Juice. And when you look at it, it don't look like it was a movie. This looked like something that happens in the hood.
I felt like I was there before.
Yeah.
I felt like I was there before.
How many takes did that happen? Did y'all talk about it? Did y'all have a fight? Because the tension to this day, when you feel it, you feel the fear, even though you know what the
because I
movie
know
is.
sometimes during shoots, I've done films and stuff. Nobody knows though. Anyway, Rapper One, go check it out. Anyway, so I know a lot of things get changed, especially when you're dealing with people who may connect more to the character than the actual writers. So they'll alter scenes and say, okay, I think we should do it this way. What do you think? And then, okay, all right, let's do that. For the movie Juice, what were the alterations that you guys encouraged?
The truth about it is, and shout out to Ernest Dickerson, who wrote and directed the film, we basically freestyled the whole film. Because the original script they had wrote like 10 years prior.
What?
So the dialogue was like, you better come here, Jive Turkey. And it was like, yeah, don't pay attention.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, I can't say it. Right, exactly.
And so that's what we did. And I remember, because Pac wasn't even an actor at that point. He actually came with Tretch. Tretch had the audition, salute to Tretch.
Right.
But Pac was with him. And so they was like, they were just looking for so many people. It was like, yo, you, come here. So
that story is real because they always said that. I was like, that gotta be just for the gas of the movie.
Nah, that was a real story. Like,
that happened.
Tretch came in there.
I got the lead
Tretch
role
came in
off
there,
of
did
that.
his thing. And then they was just like, yo, who's your man? Yo, have him come in there. And Pac went in there and the room exploded.
Right.
And then it was interesting because it's 4 dudes, right? So they was like putting people, like, I remember I read for Pac's role and they was like, all right, well, you try this or you try that or whatever. And Pac just had that thing. It was like, oh yeah, that's him. And then, you know what I'm saying, from the blessings of the universe, they was like, yo, we want you to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Do cute.
Come for this role, because I guess I kind of brought more to like the conscious, hey, we shouldn't do that. Hey, Kane, don't shoot him.
But you didn't think about rapping.
You had the best. You had the best role, my brother.
Yeah.
You had lines on the last page.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
Facts.
Fact.
You got the juice now.
But I was spitting then.
Yeah, because you played a DJ.
I had a record deal before I had a movie deal.
Really?
We had a record deal with Chemistry. That's a record, and then they folded.
Okay.
But
Wow.
all of this is happening at the same time.
What's your rap name?
Oh.
Just O?
Yeah.
Okay.
O-E-O. What's my rap name, Shane? Yeah, that was it? Oh, yo, this is, let him in.
King O Smooth.
How's it doing?
Crazy ass Charles. This is the writer-director of the film that we got coming out. The Devil
Okay,
You Know.
dope.
Charles
How
Murray.
you doing? Charles Murray in the building.
In the building. In the building. Kane, that's Charles.
Hey, brother. You got anything to do?
Good to meet you.
What's up?
Coming on late and shit.
You didn't give me a zip code.
I did. I gave you the address.
You gave me.
This is how Gary, Indiana people act.
Just to let y'all know.
But yeah, man, that was it, man. We, it was just a beautiful time, and when you young, so it takes me back to when we talking about the youngsters. Like, you think you're gonna live forever. That's just the natural order.
Of
you
course.
think if you making some bread, you think the bread is just gonna
Gonna last forever.
like this forever.
It's gonna keep going that way.
And that's not life. And we need to bridge that gap that you talked about earlier with the youngsters, because it's like, Hov did that, so hopefully you have to go do that. Right? That's the whole point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, even when you look at someone like Tyler Perry, oh, he probably worked for Billy, he got studios, you think he ain't made mistakes?
He was sleeping in his car.
Yeah.
I'm saying, even with the money.
After he got the bread, he
I'm
still
saying,
made
so he can
mistakes.
tell you, don't make that deal, do it like this.
Do you have mentors like that in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
How'd you get into
Honestly,
it?
not a lot.
I know Sidney Poitier. That's
Sidney
your
Poitier is my hero.
have
Sidney Poitier is my acting Big Daddy Kane.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, makes a lot of
Have you
sense.
ever sat with him and had those type of conversations?
Nah, man. I've had the honor of meeting him twice.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I was at a restaurant for a meeting, I saw him eating by himself, and I fanned out. But I'm thinking, because you eat and you don't want people coming up to you. So I was already thinking, but I was like, yeah, this is a once in a lifetime moment.
thing.
So
Like,
I just wanted to shake his hand.
I'm gonna get some chicken soup on my fingers. It's okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I shook his hand. I said, I don't want to interrupt you and everything like that. I'm an actor. My name is Omar Epps. And he said, I know who you are, son. He said, you do great work.
Out of here.
Out of here.
Yo.
Made my, like, I went on a tear. Like, after that, you couldn't tell me nothing. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
you know who I am.
you know what I'm saying?
Thanks. For me, I guess for me that was Ralph McDaniels.
Word?
When you were a kid, you
Video
go from
music.
Batman straight to Channel 31. Batman straight.
If you from Brooklyn, you knew.
Ralph
If
McDaniels.
you was from Queens, you knew that too. Chill with all the
Facts.
Brooklyn talk.
Yo, it is what it is. It is what it is.
King will
It is
tell
what it is.
It is what it is.
Yo, Esso, you surrounded tonight. Chill out, bro. Chill out. You surrounded, son. You surrounded, son.
was on Brooklyn.
Southside,
Yo, you
Jamaica,
got-
Queens.
you gotta
Stop
accept it.
it.
You
Yeah,
gotta accept it.
right. So the first time I saw Ralph,
You should have brought some more of your community.
look.
Don't do me dirty like that. Come on.
It's a legend, man, So the first time I saw Ralph, I felt that way.
was a staple.
Yeah.
You know that. That was a staple of you rushing home. This is again pre-internet. You can't just hit a button.
DJ
You
Ralph
had to-
McDaniels.
if you had a VHS thing,
VHS.
you had to tape,
Recorded it.
the tissue in the joint, so you record over whatever was on there.
Or the paper, folded paper.
Exactly.
Stick it in the slot.
And you going in there. Ralph is I know they had the documentary on Netflix, but I'm like,
Right.
yo, nah.
'Cause you gotta keep
it gotta
in
be
mind,
more than that. Like,
like hot tracks
remember
played
Hot
like
Track.
all the R&B stuff, but really with hip hop, they really only was like playing like Run DMC, Fat Boys.
Right.
Yeah, that's a fact.
There wasn't all this stuff.
And Friday night videos wasn't playing no rap really. They were hardly playing any black music.
Right.
I think maybe Michael Jackson and Shalimar.
I remember Shalimar too,
Yeah, Friday night videos.
Right.
So now you have, a black brother that's showing pretty much all the hip hop videos. So yeah, That was a
And he would be in the tunnel,
Facts.
in the club. Like,
the club,
y'all
talking to
know about,
everybody.
y'all wasn't outside.
I'm talking before the tunnel.
Before the tunnel.
Yeah, I'm talking 80s, you know? Yeah.
Damn, I wasn't outside then.
Was it tough breaking through back in those days?
Come again?
Was it tough breaking through back in those days? Like, because you guys kind of pioneered the whole situation.
Hell yeah. I mean, like, I started rapping in like 82, and yeah, man, like up until 84, I was trying to, like I got everybody in, in Bed-Stuy telling me how dope I am. Everybody in Sarah J. Hill telling me how dope I am,
Right.
and I couldn't get no record deal. I mean, I'm trying. I finally get with Divine Sounds at What People Do for Money, and the DJ Mike Music. He was like, yeah, you dope. I want to sign. He signed me to a production deal and got me a deal on Daniel Records. I'm thinking I'm about to make it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Doug and Rick got with Daniel Records, dropped the show. They dropped Divine Sounds. My career was over in like 2 weeks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was at that point of like, fuck it, man.
Did you start ghostwriting after that?
Well, what happened was, like when me and Biz got together, he told me,
God bless.
Rest in peace, Biz.
Yeah. He told me, I'll be doing shows in Long Island, Bronx, Manhattan. Get down with me. I guarantee you I'm gonna get you a record deal one day. So when he connected with the Juice Crew and got to put out Make the Music, he came back, had me come in on the road with him, like what I had Jay-Z and Positive K doing, like come out in the middle of the show and kick around and shit.
Right.
Like he had me doing that, and then he asked me to write the Nobody Beats the Biz joint, and asked me to help him with the album, and did that, and then he got me a record deal.
There's the Vapors.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Classic after classic after classic.
But Kane, what made you be willing to take these young people that nobody knew, like a Jay-Z and a Positive K, and give them that shine right in the middle of your show where everybody was coming to see you?
Well, with that situation, what happened was I had my Chocolate City tour out, but I also had a song with Patti LaBelle called Feels Like Another One. So when I stopped my tour to go on the road with Patti, like I'm on tour with Patti, we doing it every night. Then just one night, I'm sitting there running my mouth with somebody, and I'm like, "Hey, yo, that's not the same outfit Patti had on stage." You know? And he's like, "Yeah." So now I'm really paying attention. I'm realizing that she done changed clothes 3 times in one show. I'm like, "Ain't nobody in hip hop doing this shit." I'm like, wow.
Oh,
So
shit.
as soon as Patti tour ended, I came back to go back out with my Chocolate City joint. I grabbed Jay-Z and I grabbed Positive K, and I was like, "Yo, I want y'all to come on the road with me. I want to try something different." So I brought them on the road. Like, so I'll do half the show in one outfit, call them out, rhyme, let them freestyle on stage while I change clothes, and I come out and finish the show in another outfit.
So they was Jay-Z and them was buying you time to switch your outfit.
Exactly.
But not only that, but it was getting light too.
And they was getting light, and they was transitioning the show to what his second half of his show
You know
was
what's so
gonna
dope
be.
about it is
Really, we was like, I had them in the studio working. We was recording, trying to, do songs on them to shop them.
Oh, okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's what's been so fun about my life so far is I got memories that he forgot about. So when Jay talk about the white Lex and all of that, from back, he had me under the wing going to pick up Jay or meet with Jay. Like, I remember these things.
Right.
Like, this actually happened.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? In real life. And it's
Yeah.
like, sometimes you be thinking about it like it was a movie.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, yo, I actually, nobody, a salute to Jay, obviously, but like nobody knew, if you was from Brooklyn,
You knew.
you kind of heard, because that's Kane is giving you the humble version of how he got on. He was tearing everybody's heads off. And we know how it is in the borough.
Right.
That's the part you're not telling them. You was ripping everybody's heads
Well, I
off.
started as a battle rapper.
You see what I'm
You
saying?
know what I'm saying? Yeah. I started as a battle rapper.
You think I don't know? You think I don't know?
So that's what I was like, it was like, it got to the point where like, it was some Josie Wales type shit, like, motherfuckers coming up to Sarah J. Hill.
Yeah.
Yo, where's this MC Kane dude? Like people coming from Eastern District, from Western House, Brooklyn Tech, all these different schools.
Who did you battle?
Huh?
That people, like, someone that eventually, of course, made it to superstar status, but you tore them up before they got there?
Nobody.
The only person I would say that battled made the superstar status, but this was when they were a star.
Okay.
When we battled, that would be K Solo.
K-Solo.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be K.
K-Solo was nice.
But this is when he had records out. We battled. I believe it was Parrish that brought him to my room.
Yeah.
So y'all was battling with record deals and records out already?
Yeah, it was like Parrish from EPMD was arguing with my man JC about who was better, so he brought
Niggas is fighting and saying, yo, you gonna come battle Kane?
Kane.
Get the fuck out of here, Kane. And the nigga showed up like, yeah, I'm coming to battle this nigga.
No, K Solo came ready. He came ready to battle. He wasn't scared. He came ready.
Now back then, was it more freestyle, or was it like, no, I'm gonna put your name in this, I'm gonna structure
Okay, when you say freestyle, what do you mean?
Off the top.
like,
off the dome?
Okay,
Okay,
was it freestyle or something that you might have?
With me, it was mainly written stuff, but I might, look you up and down and add another 8 bars.
Yeah.
Depending on how raggedy your shit was.
Right.
What was it like
crazy.
being around a young Nas?
I mean, it was a real weird, like,
What's up?
it's like we in the studio and I'm telling him how much I love his album. I was like, yo, a lot of people use that 5 mic term very loosely. But I want you to know, you have a 5 mic album.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got, 10 songs on the album and 7 of them is dope. I don't think that make it a 5 mic album.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you got some shit where I can just press play. Like, your shit could have been on an 8-track.
No fast forward.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's
I'm
fire.
like, your shit is the truth. And then he kept asking me, what do I think he should have did different? And I'm like, nothing. And he's like, and then he's like, okay, well, listen. If Illmatic was Big Daddy Kane's album, what would you have done different? Because I'm telling you, I don't think there's nothing you should do different. I said, all right, if it was Kane, if it was my album, I would have had 1 song on there at least for the ladies.
Right.
But you ain't me. You know what I'm saying? You
I love this.
that's not your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not your thing. So you didn't have to do that. So ain't nothing wrong with what you did. Your shit is perfection.
Yeah.
I'm like, if it was my album, I would have had 1 song on there for the ladies. But I'm like, but that's not what you need to do though. You know what I'm saying? We 2 different people.
Do you feel like he took that and he started?
Yeah, I mean, like a couple of years later, the motherfucker hit me about Owe Me Back. Telling me, yo, we had telling me
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
So tell me about the chicks back then, though, Kane, because you legendary for niggas hating you about the chicks.
Oh, man.
Come on,
Why y'all
Naomi
trying to tip
Campbell.
this conversation?
I mean, yo, listen, man. What was the vibe? What was the vibe back then with the chicks being that the rap game was brand new? I mean, it had years in, but the vibe that you was bringing was different.
Can I answer that for him?
The style,
Let me get
the
this for you.
jewelry, the haircut.
Because you was there.
It's very simple. It's very simple. His turn down list is more legendary than y'all hit list. Let's just leave it at that. You follow me?
That's it.
It's just the truth. The truth don't have no opinion.
Hold on,
It is what it is.
Some niggas got it in some
married,
dope.
you was scooping up the turn down list?
Was you the guy on the side like, hey, mom, it's okay. You can come back with me.
I was raised by the best. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna front. Loving Basketball when it first came out, You know, people would say it was like, oh, the #1 movie. But over the years, it became like the must. Like, you don't got Loving Basketball in the crib. Like, you don't got DVD. Chick come over the crib. What you got? What you want to watch? Loving Basketball. Yeah, Loving Basketball. That was the thing.
It's always the thing.
Let me tell you something. Yo, when she said, I'll play you for your heart. Yo, my man. If I had, like, look, that was like my cold-blooded coaching moment right there. Like, I dunk on her. Yeah. Dunk on her. Yeah, spin move. Yeah, knock on her. Like, it was like, yo, cold-blooded. You gotta earn this. Yeah. You gotta earn this. Yeah. And I think I've been that way ever since.
That's funny.
Ever since. But that was like a huge moment. Do people ever come up to you and be like, yo, this was an iconic moment? Like,
yeah, people love that. What's so strange is, like, I think I'm the type of person that tries to be present in the moment, because I believe that life is a series of moments.
Right.
Yes.
That's it. So we need to be present right here and now, right?
Right.
And when we're making this film, you know, you could dream or imagine anything. Oh, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that, but none of that really matters. You're just in the moment, right?
Right.
And so it's interesting in what you just said, because when the film came out, it made its money back and blah, 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 blah. But the way that people talk about it now wasn't back then. It's like, now it's like 2 or 3 generations later where they're like, oh my God, like, you know, my daughter's friends are like, oh my God, tell your dad I love this movie and this, that, and the other. And, you know, I think I attribute that, like, back to the schooling. Like, I wonder if, when you were making your first album, like, we can't imagine that far, or this is gonna be a monumental moment that's gonna stop time and transcend time. Mm-hmm. Like, all of these decades later, people are listening to, you know, you reference Nas, but I hear you in cats like Corday and some of these other
warming up
cats.
Kane.
Mm-hmm. Nice, like, you got that cadence from here. Like, we know we had the playbook, dog.
Right.
And salute to them, you know what I'm saying? Because they taking it to a different level. But when you're creating the blueprint, I don't know if you're thinking about, oh, this is the blueprint.
Right.
You're just in the moment creating
the best work that you can create
in that moment.
Stretching your imagination.
You know what I'm saying? And then there's very, very few of us can get to that Mayweather level where, you know, I can't remember what fight, salute to Floyd, that's the homie, but there was a fight where he was obviously duffing money up. And the commentators was like, he threw a punch and Floyd was like, and the commentator said, oh, Floyd hit him with a right hook. And he's in the middle of a fight and he leans out the way of the punch and he was like, nah, it was a left. And then bang, and bang him back.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember?
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's genius level. That's what I'm talking about. And we all have that ability in us.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
You gotta look that up.
You gotta look it up. That's
was
crazy.
that with Birdo?
It wasn't with Birdo. It was it was before he retired. Mm-hmm. But literally, they
I remember that.
He heard
the commentator say, "Oh,
he said no." He said no. It was a left.
Yeah,
I never saw that.
Yo, when I seen Floyd, he was getting ready to fight Zab Judah. This video was on YouTube, and he was doing the jump rope and everything.
Yeah,
and he's drinking a can of Coca-Cola and killing the speed bag. And if anybody knows, that's the worst thing for a boxer. He's like, this is my first time drinking this shit. And he going in with the jump rope. And I'm like,
but let me tell you something about Floyd.
Motherfucker.
Let me tell you something about Floyd. Games aside.
Before you say it, let me just say one thing real quick. Yeah, I'm a witness with that speed bag. You ever get a chance, watch the Ain't No Half Stepping video. I missed that motherfucker about 6 times. And, yeah. It looked good, but yeah, I missed that bag about 6 times.
I was just gonna say that Floyd is obviously he is who he is, but he's also a show. He's like Muhammad Ali on steroids when it comes to the showmanship.
Okay.
Follow what I'm saying? Well, so the whole drinking Coca-Cola and all of it, that's all for y'all to sleep.
Right.
It's all mental games. That man don't drink, don't smoke. Like the you know, I was in Floyd's when he was training for Pacquiao.
Okay.
And you get to see that. But see, I knew Floyd before anybody knew who Floyd was.
Pretty Boy Floyd?
Pretty Boy Floyd.
Wow.
That was a
I knew Floyd when he was like 15 and old and in Vegas, and you know what I'm saying? Like, we was getting him in the spot, like, yo. And I'm like, yo, you don't know who this is? And they like, nah. I'm like, yo, he with us. Suited up and all of that. And this is when I used to chief and all of that. Like, yo, what's up? We rolling, you know, we wilding. Like,
right.
He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
about to go running.
He wasn't smoking back
Tell
then.
him about to go running.
Yeah, that's his
like,
thing. He runs at 2 in the morning.
What? You about to go running?
Yeah.
You see all these broads in here, son? Like, you want to go running now? But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, focus.
Focus and discipline, and at the end of the day, it's like when I speak to the young kids, I like to speak to young kids at schools a lot and this and that, and specifically like in the arts. It's like you got to put the work in, yo.
Yeah.
Everybody is blessed with a gift.
Yeah.
It's your life's journey and purpose to discover yours. You see what I'm saying? And then we have to put it together, especially as black and brown people. You see what I'm saying? If you know how to stitch, but you got the access to the fabric, and then you have the distribution point, you know what I mean? We could put that together, and then me and him is like, yo, we could
Promote
face
it.
of the thing.
You can promote it.
Put it together.
Make it
That's
happen.
one of the main things with the young boys and women. It's like the unity is going. That's one thing I so respect about Kane's era. There was unity. So when you think about Kane, you think about Rakim, you think about KRS-One, you think about LL Cool J, you think about Run DMC, Cool G Rap,
Russell Simmons.
Latifah, Soul Pepper, like you, but
Heavy D.
everybody had a different thing,
Yeah.
right?
De La
And they
Soul.
owned it.
Right.
But there was this unit, Kid and Play, and like everyone had room. It was no.
A lot of different unique artists.
Jungle Brothers, De La Soul. You had so many, the Moni Love. You had people coming from all over.
There was a lot of unity. But I have to ask this question. Why didn't you do a versus with Rakim?
Look at Shane's face.
I mean, that's who they was trying to make the verses happen with.
Right. That's who. No disrespect to KRS. That's who everybody wanted to see for years, for decades.
That's what I believe. That's what everybody think they wanted to see. In my personal opinion, during the pandemic, had me and Rakim battled in for verses, it would have been dope.
Right.
Because, he would have been sitting in the comfort of his living room. I'm sitting in the comfort of my living room, and we just going through songs over IG.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
And I think that would have worked out a lot better.
Right.
But me and him standing on a stage together, nah. I think what people got is what they needed.
Right.
Me and KRS, someone that, has a lot of energy, someone that has, real strong battle skills, that's
So
what the people.
if you're reading between the lines like I am, he's basically saying Rakim is not the showman.
He's not a stage. He don't got the stage
It
show.
would have been a wash for y'all to see that on a huge stage.
That's not what I'm
If they were just sitting in the living room, it would be cool because they both sitting down. But once the man gets up and the feet start moving, it's over. It's over. That's basically what it was.
saying.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I would agree with Nav a lot, but
That was
that's
my
kinda what I
interpretation.
heard,
That's
too.
kind of what I heard.
that's
That's kind of
not
what I
what I'm
heard.
saying.
Brooklyn, I know the
Right.
lingo.
Now, but you know what? I know what he's saying, because think about
understand
that.
it.
The verses started like
In the house.
Yeah,
in
set it
the
out.
crib, and
Right.
it wasn't a performance. So it was
Right.
just like, yo, record fit. That's like, what's your playlist? What's my playlist?
Yeah.
Oh, and it was like sort of dressed down. But once you get to this performance thing, it changes. It's like, and we've seen it.
Right.
We've seen it. We've seen the ones that like, oh yeah, like even certain
Locks
ones.
versus Dipset.
Yeah.
You're taking an example
Son.
that Locks was more of a showman. They was more prepared. And I came on this show, and I was sitting over there, and they argued with me, and I said, Dipset don't have a chance. I said, because the Locks
They had
have
a
been,
chance, bro.
I
They
said,
had a
because
chance.
Locks have been trained by Puffy. They actually believe in stage show, whether they're spitters or not. And
I think they had a chance, honestly. I think they had a chance because you can't really say
They
it
had
like
big
that.
enough records.
The nuclear bomb in that was, I was
Jada Kiss?
mentioning the word present. Jada Kiss was so present in that moment.
Yeah.
He went to outer space.
It was like there was a cutout
But he
for his
didn't
feet
go
in
to
front of
outer
the
space. That
stage.
was regular performance
He
for
just
Jada.
stayed right there.
He didn't go to outer space.
What was his DJ name?
If you went to his shows, that's what he do. He didn't go to outer space.
Technician.
Yeah.
Oh
He
my
killed.
God.
He killed.
He was
He set it
the
up.
secret
The
source.
MVP.
I agree.
Because he was like the other voice. Because
Yes.
there was no delay, and when Jada's like drop, like he just goes into it.
That's called stage show.
That's called stage
This is
show.
what he's talking about. Like when he drops
Right.
it. When I first went to one of his shows, he don't even know you did LaShawn's joint.
Lil Sean.
You know, you did LaShawn's joint, and I was there for the private joint. And although I knew he was gonna drop the mic and do all that shit, the shit was still lit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's because you really thought he was gonna drop it. Is he really gonna drop this motherfucker this time? You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Kane, boom,
That's what
and
I'm
you
saying.
see how it cycles around.
Yeah.
I used to marvel at because you've never seen it before. Him, School, Scrap. He's doing the half split. School picking him up by the shirt.
Yeah.
That's James Brown shit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
But it's so ill when you see it in hip hop form, like,
Facts.
and he got on a slacks and
Yeah.
the button
Bro,
up,
don't-
like, yo, you never seen that. Like, yo,
Smooth.
this is crazy. You know
Amazing.
what I'm saying?
Amazing.
I mean,
That's something I learned from Doug Fresh.
Shout out to Doug.
One night after one of my shows, we went to Doug's crib and he showed me these videos of Earth, Wind and Fire, Michael Jackson, and Pink Floyd. And he was explaining, he's like, everybody coming in the game right now, you know, trying to emulate Run DMC, Houdini, LL. He said, what I'm doing right now is I'm learning shit from Earth, Wind and Fire, Michael Jackson, stuff that ain't been done in hip hop yet. I'm like, deep. So that next morning, you know, I went down to Tower Video and bought live performances of James Brown, Barry White, Marvin Gaye. And that's the shit I was studying to perfect my stage show. So, and on that video, I saw when James did the split and Bobby Bird pulled him up by his heel. So I told School, yeah, we gotta do that, but grab my shirt, don't fuck with my heel.
I get the job done.
Wow.
That was my joint too.
Legendary.
Legendary. And that word for y'all youngsters, everybody calling everybody a legend, somebody else got to call you a legend for that to be true. Same with you, the martyr. Can't call yourself that. Somebody else has to call you that based on your actions.
Right.
That's a legend. This man right here is a legend.
It's a fact.
Is on the Mount Rushmore of this shit. You wouldn't have a Jay-Z without Kane. You
That's a
wouldn't have a
fact.
Biggie without Kane.
Right.
You can, and obviously they're supposed to take it further. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
To this thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just important to me for the youngsters to know coming because there's so many talented youngsters, and right now the streets is run amok, run astray, bamboozle, you know, whatever. And it's but we can save that. What I hear a lot from cats in our demographic, age-wise, it's like it's a lost cause, and I'm like, nah, it's not a lost cause. We just have to bridge that gap of communication with them, because I'm gonna reference another J line when he said, "Sensitive thugs, y'all all need hugs." Yo,
Sometimes that's the case.
yo,
That's
my
really
G.
the case.
Yo, if you ain't got no pops, that shit hurts. I grew up without a father.
Right.
I seen my mom struggling, even though she was an educator, she wasn't making no bread like that. You know what I'm saying? And people come from broken families, or you might have siblings, or your mom. Nowadays they on all types of whatever, but back in the days it was like if your mom's or your pops is on crack.
Yeah.
Like, my nigga, you not trying to come outside. That don't feel good. Everybody know that. Your man's is selling to your parent, whatever, your sister, your whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we
We come
it's
from the
tough.
era having food stamps was a shameful thing. Now, yo, I got them card swipes.
Right.
Let's go. I got them stamps.
You know what? That was shameful for me up until a key moment in my life. Because like you know, Pops wasn't around like that. Mom was on welfare. I used to go, she used to give me like the little $5 joints or the $10 joints, and I would go in the store. I would buy like a mint, like a 5-cent
And
mint.
get change.
And get the change. Then go to another store, 5-cent mint, and get the change. By the time I get to school, I'm jingling, but I don't got no stamps on me.
Right.
So I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, so Poncho, the dude that ran the store across from me, he peeped what I was doing after a while. So I went in the store one day, I got all my stuff, and I was about to pay him, and then my friends walked in. And I was like, yo, hold on, I forgot something in the back.
Don't you move.
So I be in the
That's
back.
the classic food
I
stamp
be in the
move.
back like,
Just looking for something.
and then I came back to the joint. And Poncho was just staying. He's staring at me and shit. I give him the money. Yo, bro, he took out like mad singles of food stamps and was like, just laid them all out. And I was like, yo, why you doing this to me? I'm looking at the door. I'm like, damn, I hope nobody come in. But my homeboy, shout out to Casper. This is my homeboy. Like, he was popping in the neighborhood, always had the new kicks. He was tough, knocked a couple dudes out, you know what I mean? But this was my man. Like, for some reason, he used to take to me. He used to always come check me. And one day he was like, yo, you hungry? And I was like, yeah. He was like, yo, I got mad bread. Let's go get some Chinese food. We get to the Chinese food joint, and he took out the book. And I was like, the book. He had the book. This is my, like I'm talking about junior high schools. He got gold teeth, you know what I mean? Earrings, all that, like, and he got the book. And he's like, and I'm like, oh, you too?
The brown one, the green one, or the red one? I mean, I do this shit for real.
It wasn't the brown, because the brown is the singles. It was the green one.
Okay.
He had mad 20s in the joint. And I think the blue ones was like, what, 50 or something? Anyway, so he pulled it out. And I was like, you got the book? And he was like, yeah, you hungry?
Like you seen the Matrix.
Yo, he was balling.
I got mad bread. Food stamps.
But I never hid again, because I was like, yo, somebody I looked up to ain't ashamed of this shit. Why am I ashamed of this?
The beauty of that story is the unity. And that's what's missing.
Right.
Is the unity. We're better together than not.
Right.
There's more. The thing that pisses me off about the younger generation, and to be honest with you, even my generation, like, cats be acting like rats in a cage, and there's a piece of cheese in the middle, and it's a labyrinth to get to the cheese, and then they get the little piece, and it's like, yo, this is all a game.
Right.
There's more than enough for everybody. Like, they talk about money and this, that, and the other, and then we in a pandemic and lockdown, and all of a sudden there's $1 trillion that we can just give everybody. Where does that come from?
Right, exactly.
Based on the rules that you made. This is your system.
Right.
And you say that it has to have collateral for gold, and all right, well, where is it? What if you audited the Federal Bank Reserve? And then you found out that, oh, that's a privately owned. Oh, look,
Oh,
you
it's
just made
privately
the face,
owned.
you don't want to go there.
You already know.
You asked me like, oh,
You know
what you want to talk about?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying go there, but we know that's not gonna happen.
But I'm saying it comes back to unity. You see what I'm saying? When we're together and we're helping one another in whatever way, you know what I'm saying? We progress. I love seeing my people shine. You see what I'm saying? And so I believe that if you're not putting nobody on, you ain't doing shit.
Facts.
I agree with that.
Period. If you don't have a resume of, oh, yo, I helped.
And I
put
feel
this
like
person in
there was a
place or
huge
whatever.
generation of people that never put nobody on. Even in New York, amongst like the hip hop scene, there's so many artists that's been rocking for like decades that just never gave anybody.
I think that's on, and that's why I say
opportunity.
rats in a cage chasing a piece of cheese.
Rats in a
because
cage.
It's on purpose, because now here's where you gotta be pragmatic. It's not some people's fault, because you're learning on the fly, right? You don't know this is how this deal is structured, or this is how you do this. You're learning,
let me
and
show
you're
you
going,
this.
and you're moving, and you learn that. So I get that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And sometimes you got some of the wrong people giving you the advice.
Exactly.
I think this.
That's what I was getting to. It's by design. You see what I'm saying? It's by design, because the whole thing is for us to be workers.
Of course.
This whole design of this system is for us to work for somebody else instead of
mine the gold and give it to the people.
working for ourselves and working with ourselves.
Right.
In my business, like so boom. You got this move. I got this.
You also got to take into account that creatives go out of their way to not learn business.
Thank you.
He's been saying
all the time.
all the time.
You know, creatives. So, you know, I've heard more than my fair share of people go.
Say that again, though. You said go out their way not to learn.
Yeah,
That,
like, they
don't want to know about it.
They hate it.
No,
They think
it's
disgusting.
because
It kind of taints the art.
well, not only that, but it becomes it's regurgitation where people kind of like think that that's the right thing to say, right? I got my reps to do that, right? But it's show business. This creative thing, once you understand that it's done through business, you're silly to not try to
Learn business.
Thank you.
business because it frees up the creativity.
right. Exactly.
You know what I was saying earlier? That one of the people that, you know, I learned from was Barry White. That was one of the first things he said to me. He said, you gonna get into this here music business, then the first thing you need to learn is that's two words, music and business.
And to go
And
back
that, just real quick,
Yeah.
that's Charles Murray, the writer director of the new film we got coming out, The Devil You Know. AMC Theaters, March 31st.
Let's go.
But this shit took us 8 years
8 years.
to get made.
Why?
This man is super accomplished in this business. You know, you got to check all the boxes, and we were overqualified
Right.
with the boxes being checked, and they still was like, you know what I mean? No, and the type of film that it is so beautiful because it's like other people get to make movies about stories like this film is about. But when you put black faces in it, you know, they just turn a blind eye or something like that. Even our own people, so it's not a race thing. You know how many people I came to with him, yo, we got this joint, we should get down, da-da-da-da-da, and they're like, like he said, and then the representation, I don't know if you should do that. Me, I'm just a buck with it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I, like here, why we here?
Right.
We had one conversation.
One conversation.
I'm like,
you
yo,
made it happen.
if I could make this thing,
Boom.
I'm there.
Right.
Not this, he's here. You know what I'm saying? I come bearing gifts.
Right. This is awesome. This is awesome. Right.
But that's what we gotta do. You know what I'm saying? And even like with Kane, I'm, you know, yo, come through, because I watch your platform, and to me, it's one hand. It's not even about one hand washing the other. I want to see you shine. I want to see y'all shine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
if
that.
Y'all see y'all win, that's the win for me. I don't need nothing from it.
Right.
I don't need no bread, nothing. It's just like, yo, if I introduce you to this person or whatever the case may be, and then you run off, and that's beautiful to me. That's what this is about. That's how.
But where does that come from?
I mean,
But where does that come from? Does that come from because he blessed you, or you have people around you that bless you with that same type of respect and love?
For me, you want to know honestly? I'm gonna tell you. For me, in this physical body, that comes from my mother. My mother is Bonnie Epps. She taught half of this motherfucking city for 30 years. Everybody know that. So when I first made Juice, everybody that come up to me, I was thinking, they recognize me from the movie. They'd be like, nah.
I know your mom.
Yo, it's Big Head Gary. Tell your moms, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for telling me this in this moment, because I changed my life, and now I'm okay.
Right.
I got a job. I'm doing this. It doesn't matter if they was a doctor or a bus driver. It didn't matter. And that stuck with me, the spirit of giving. I learned that from my moms. I remember if I would have a half
like
day,
that too.
I'd go up to her school, be in there. Some kid is in there with a burnt arm or something like that. And I'm like, damn, what's going on? And we like the same age. And all I'm thinking about is I ain't got no ColecoVision or Shell-Toed. Like, I'm mad as shit, right? Turn out my moms do something with the city or whatever. Damn, this kid moms is a crackhead and burnt him with a iron or something. Like, it made me feel ashamed. I'm thinking about this, and you know, this kid is in, and we the same age.
Right.
So the spirit of giving, if you're not giving then what's your purpose? You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's where that comes from in terms of we have to do. Charles could tell you. Charles could tell you because I don't think y'all really know who he is in this business, but this man is a legend.
No, we take your word for it, definitely.
in this business,
And I know
the
his
things that
name
he's
too.
done and the people
Definitely.
that he's dealt with, but he's a real one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you said, about giving and holding down and shining together. The sad reality, there's some people that be like, if I got a dope gold chain, I don't feel right if my whole crew don't have it. I got to make sure they good. But there's other dudes, and I've said this to Esso, and I'm going to say this to Math. If Math gets a Lamborghini, and another dude might be like, damn, I got a Ferrari. Damn, Kane just got the Lambo truck. You just got the Porsche. They mad. They want to be the only one with that motherfucker. It's offensive that we're all shining. They want to be the top dog and everyone else at the bottom. I'm like, how do you sit right? That's your man.
Yeah, but let me say. Go ahead.
The problem is when you think about those things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Those people, they're giving you a high sign that you need to move on from.
Of course.
Exactly.
Right?
I agree.
But here's the thing. Because we are so caught up in props, we focus on, okay, well, why is he mad about that? I got mine, you got yours, Lambo, Porsche,
It
whatever.
could be anything. It's success, notoriety.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
What it really is someone hasn't given them a path. You want somebody who's going to give you a path instead of a thing.
Explain that.
Like teach a man to fish.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is everyone can fish, right?
Everyone what?
Everyone can fish, right?
Everyone can.
Yeah, but there's certain dudes that like, I only want to be the one that have it, especially in my crew.
Can I say something that
Yeah.
it's gonna sound harsh?
Yeah, go for
It's
it.
gonna
Go for
sound,
it.
but it's the truth.
Yeah.
You gotta kill the roaches. You understand what I'm saying to you? And I say this in a realest way I can.
Oh, yeah.
It's like when you look at what happened to Nipsey. That's not supposed to happen.
It's not.
We gotta kill the roaches, yo. At the end of the day, we live in the projects. If somebody down on 3 doors down the hall got a dirty apartment, now we all got roaches.
Fact.
He been saying that for years.
This is the simple truth. The truth
Nobody
don't have an
listen to me,
opinion,
yo.
and the truth
Don't
don't
listen to
take
me.
no sides. So you follow what I'm saying? To your point,
Absolutely.
This is what it is. So,
What? I hear what you're saying, but there's another way to look at this too.
Okay.
Because the reason that you're asking Omar why he's that person that'll bring someone else along is that sometimes you got to understand that that mindset comes from a lack of self.
Exactly.
Right? And so when you understand that you're angry from lack, it's not about the thing that's in front of you. That's where he's gotten. And when you get to that place, when you feel like sometimes you have to bring yourself out of the hole.
Yeah.
And the best way that you can bring your man out of the hole is to go, I see what you're doing. I see where the hate's coming from, but I'm not gonna sit here with it.
Yeah, I'm
A
out.
lot of people sit with it because they want to they think they can make their man see something a different way.
No.
Yes.
The only way you can do it is to keep elevating.
Yeah.
And then that way the roaches will go away.
Yeah. Yeah. And put yourself in a space where there are no roaches.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. But I just think we're at a point where things are so drastic that we got a clean house. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And it just is what it is. For our survival, self-preservation, first rule of life. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I see my man and I know he got it in him, but he just needs a little guidance, it goes back to the youngins. You gotta wanna hear it. You gotta wanna listen.
Yeah.
We can speak to you all day, but if it ain't
It goes
You ain't
one
taking
end
it in
out the
like-
other.
Been clicking.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think
you see what I'm saying?
people need to stop being overly patient. I learned a lot of lessons sitting by myself. And if people didn't leave me to sit by myself, I might not have never learned those lessons.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think that a lot of people, they try to overextend themselves for the sake of maybe guilt or something within them that's feeling like, I need to do this. Look, that's your ego. Your ego tells you to change people. Your brain will tell you you can't change nobody. They have to want to change.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let that go.
You get everybody those trucks,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to get everybody their Porsches.
Thanks.
You're gonna have to get everybody, and then look at Hammer.
Yeah.
Hammer took care of everybody. Like that dude was legendary in his ability to give as a good man, and it still didn't elevate people. Right. Sometimes the best way to elevate somebody else is to elevate yourself.
That's why they had this saying, God bless the child that
Got his own.
Right.
Right.
Which means you gotta do the work. See, if I see the potential in you, but I know you lazy, I'm not putting you on. Because it's not my job to teach you how not to be lazy.
Right.
It's like the hold on.
He'll tell you you're lazy.
Yeah, I'll tell you you're lazy.
That's the lesson sometimes.
Yeah, and if you can hear that, like, how am I lazy? It's
don't-
like, dog, you get up and play video games for 3 hours every day in the morning. You're not doing nothing. Like
Right.
you do this, you do that, and then you get to the work. So it's kind of like what was the making of the band? Dylon, yo, walk to. What are you willing to do? You know what I found out in this business? A lot of people don't have talent, but they got the desire.
And the drive.
And they're willing to
And
go
they will
far and beyond.
hustle the person that could sing,
It's dope as
out-sing,
hell.
rap, whatever, everybody.
Who do you feel is like that?
Come on. Hey, this guy's good. He said it with a serious face.
Every time somebody, I gotta find out who the days are. I'm on a quest to find the days. To me, but I got you. But yeah, I understand.
You see what I'm saying? So
some
it's
people,
like, I just have a little bit of a more drastic viewpoint because of where we are at as a culture and as society. We were talking earlier about hip hop, and I feel like hip hop is a grandfather now for the first time. And what is that gonna be, right? Like we have these talks, and it's just like, oh, Jay is 50 or such and such is whatever, and they still putting out records. So is music. Like, this ain't athletics.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, his knees ain't getting out.
Why does this genre have to have
age
an
limit.
age cutoff?
Exactly.
And
Because
no
we're-
genre
the Rolling Stones and all
Because
these dudes still...
we are black. Let me say this, and we go with the fads. We create the trends. We create the trends, right? So we decided to say that rap was a young man's sport.
But it's not.
I didn't say it is.
No, I hear what you're
But
saying.
I'm just saying that because we create the trends. When we decided to say, yo, we're not gonna go to concerts of older rappers no more. We like the young wave.
Yo,
And
let me
that's
tell
where
you-
we
let me
wanna
tell-
go out. That's where the young girls is at.
Let me
You know
tell
what
you.
I'm saying?
Let me tell you what's so ill. When Kane, in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong. To me, that was Kane's generation. And Kane's generation, Shane, you could chime in too. When you got to the third album, it was over.
People was expecting you.
It was
to
over.
it. Right.
Kane, Rob, everybody that we named, it was like, third album is like, So to see it come to where it is now, it is a music, it's art. So it's like, yeah, I could listen to Lil Baby and whomever,
Right.
but when I'm listening to 444, I can relate to that.
Right.
Because I'm 48 years old. So all this fucking flagging, shoot 'em up, and I can't relate
Relate
to that.
no more. Right.
But I can, it's cool. You can work out, listen to it, whatever. It's cool. Has its place.
Right.
And that's why it's like, but if Kane put out a new album, in which he should, and I hope he is, next year, there's a space for that.
Yeah.
Now, the genre itself has grown. And I'm saying all of this to say, when it come back to the hood and come back to the streets and where this come from, this came from our art came from continuing our legacy through spoken word, through rhythm, music. When the slaves came over, they couldn't speak, and they slashed their tongues to not speak that language, and we had to learn hymns and do like code speak,
Right.
to pass on our history to one another,
Right.
while they watching. The youngins don't understand that because now it's a multi-billion-dollar business. So when I get offended when I see some young cat like, oh, I just started rapping yesterday. Like, I don't even care about this. Because now technology, you could just press a button and it's out.
That's what I was saying.
You got to understand, man, that right now, you know, with hip hop, it's not the cultural thing that it used to be, you know, where there's things that you did in the beginning, you know, going around battling other artists or going around rocking block parties or house parties or whatever,
Or ciphers,
you know, things of that nature. It's like what you did. You know, you just buy some equipment and record a song. Now hip hop is officially a music genre, and it's pretty much the forefront of pop culture.
Yes.
You know, so therefore, just like any other pop artist, you can become, you know, successful in hip hop now. You know, and because it's a real musical genre, the rules that applied for us don't apply to that.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Where like you know, back in the days, you know, you saying someone else's stuff, you know, you consider the biting MC. Someone else writing for you, you consider the sucker MC.
Sounding like them too.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now it's because let's keep in mind, you know, in music genres, let's just take two of the greatest ever: Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross. Greatest they could sing. They had writers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Keep the ship running.
Luther, majority of his catalog was remixed.
Written, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I mean, you know, in hip hop culture, we didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Saying nobody else's rhymes or having.
Because when you started rapping, you wanted to step outside and like, okay, I'm gonna test my skills.
That's what made it
rap.
dope.
But I mean, it's
Who
different
rap
now.
over here? Who raps on this block?
It's different now because hip hop is pop culture, so those rules don't apply anymore.
Gotcha.
You know?
So
So
that-
you can't knock
it's
a
beyond the
younger
street.
dude for like, I just started rapping yesterday.
I ain't look at it like
following
that.
Pop culture.
That's
you
it.
know what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah, but he's not, that to me, that's the same way as like, I agree with what you're saying to a degree. But it's like, you just picked up a burner yesterday. You don't know how to use it. But you outside.
But they gonna shoot it, and that's what he
That's
said.
what I'm saying.
But they still gonna shoot it.
You don't even know how to. Okay, better example.
That's what Big
You
Daddy
pick up a
said.
controller of an Xbox or whatever. You don't know how to work it.
Listen,
But you just sitting there pressing buttons.
I'm not.
But at least learn. Have respect for the craft of what that is.
see,
But you can't tell anybody to do that. What you can do is acknowledge the difference in those who do and those who don't. We can tell who's a student of the game.
We should tell them though. Yeah, but
You
see,
should
that's
be
a
able to tell
politi-
them, though.
That's
you should be able to. I'm not. You can't. You're right. You can't. But you should be able to tell them.
Right.
And I think that the reason why you can't is because what we talked about earlier, that gap.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
Yeah.
there was somebody there to give me game when I came into the business.
But did you want the game?
Hell yeah.
Exactly. They don't want the game. This is
Yeah,
what
but
I'm saying.
and that's what I'm saying.
Well, we come from an era of OGs.
Nah, but you know,
It's different. We come from an era of OGs, bro.
Hold on, what I'm saying is something very simple. These rules that we talking about, I wanted to make Kane proud when I'm in my beginnings of my career like that.
Right.
And we around each other like that. Because of how much I respected him and how much he had an influence in my life just as a young black man.
Right.
And the way to do that is to be successful. Like I tell my kids, yo, we come from God. It's our responsibility to be successful in whatever that is.
Right.
Barbershop, lotion, water, shoes, whatever.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. It's not about money.
There's something within you that you have to give to the world.
Right. And it's your responsibility. When you take it from that angle, a lot of the semantics fall away. And I think that the spirituality of things is so lost now. To me, that's the main key. Once we realize that we're children of the light, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm pretty sure all of us think, how are we still here? From the things that we've been through.
Yeah.
Think about that, for real. Like, damn, and then you just see other stories of that wasn't even that serious and they not here no more.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's our responsibility to be successful. And that first success is the success of self. But once you get down deeper, you realize the success of self is connected to everybody else.
Yeah. It's the
You
gift.
follow what I'm saying?
Fact.
And that's the reality, and that's what we missing. Everybody caught up in this thing, and it's that money don't even have no meaning. It don't even mean nothing.
But it's always the people who have money or a couple dollars that understand that. The people who don't have the money seem to think that money is always going to solve the problem.
In the scripture, it says that it's easier for a rich man to think about God because the poor man is thinking about his next meal.
Yes.
That's a fact.
And I respect that, and it makes sense. You see what I'm saying? Because it's all an illusion, right? You get $1, then you want 10. You get 10, then you want 20. You get 20, then you want 30, and so forth and so on. And so you could be a billionaire.
Yeah.
I've been around them. Unhappy. The most baffling thing in the world. I'm like, we on this big ass 450 whatever foot yacht and whatever it is.
And you're
It's
miserable.
miserable.
I seen it too,
All the
bro.
girls around, all of it. And I'm like, what's wrong with this? Like,
'Cause
and it teaches
doesn't
you, like,
add
yo,
up.
that don't give you the feeling
Happiness.
Happiness.
And
Right.
fulfillment.
Right. When my son or my daughter come in the room, yo, Dad, I love you.
That's happiness and fulfillment.
Priceless. You can't put a price on that.
Happiness and fulfillment to the
You
max.
follow me?
All right. I did want to get to the clap. Everybody want to do the clap? Okay, cool.
Yo, salute to Matt for putting this together. Legend. Mount Rushmore of the culture.
Facts.
Not just rap, for black people. Period.
Facts.
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 Big facts. So salute. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here just enjoying the ride.
Well, let's take a little turn on the ride. Where you released a book called Fatherless.
From fatherless to
From
fatherhood.
Fatherless to Fatherhood.
Yeah.
What's that? What was that like? That experience? Because I'm someone that can identify with that. You know, not having a father around, becoming a father, and kind of wanting to be better than your own father.
Right.
But my process led me to realize, even though I was better than mine, I could be better. What was your experience like?
Okay, so that words are powerful. So when you say be better than, that's you have to be careful with your words.
Right.
So I would hone in on to be better, not better than. And I love my father. It's a strange thing. He's passed on, transition.
My condolences.
Thank you. But it's as if since then, we're more in touch. He's been speaking to me since he's passed so much.
Right.
To the point of where the date of when he passed, I have a little sister from him. I was her father because he wasn't necessarily in her life either. And this date came around, and I just kept feeling. I was telling my wife, and I called my little sister like, "Yo, you know because there's dreams and then there's visions. I think dreams are fleeting, and visions are they're definite.
Yeah, they come back to.
They're definite.
Right.
Oh, you mean focused?
No, definite. Like you can't get away from it. A dream can just come and go.
Right.
Okay.
And I was having these visions of him, and so I called my sister and I said, "Man, it's really interesting," and I was trying to figure it out. Like, you know, I feel like he's reaching out to me, and I'm gonna get to exactly what you're saying. And she said, "Oh, that's interesting. This was the day before Valentine's Day this year," and she said, well, you know, he passed on this day.
Right.
And I didn't remember the day that he passed.
This is what your wife told you.
This is what my little sister told
It
me.
was your little sister. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right? And I have no regrets because I only met my father one time in my whole life when I was 12. One time. And we hung out for like 4 days. And that's it. That's all I got.
He never tried to come around with
No.
your success?
No.
Wow.
Nothing. And through the years, Kane is gonna love this. Shane, where's Shane at? Kane's gonna love this story. So I was at this show at, what was it? The Hammerstein Ballroom, whatever. Some show, Tribe Called Quest, Rex and Effect and all of that type of
Yeah.
I'm backstage, Freddie Fox, Bumpy Knuckles.
Right.
He's like, yo, come here. I'm a little shorty. I'm like, yo, what's up? My pops was Muslim. So he's like, yo, I made Juma with your pops at the mosque on foot. And then I'm like, so? At that point, because I was so young, I'm still angry and mad and resentful.
That
and
phase.
But, you know, Bumpy is like, yo, we need to go seek him out and talk to him. And I'm like, I'm not trying to hear none of that shit.
Right.
You know, but it stuck with me. And what it made me do, because the gift that my father did give me was my little sister, in a sense of she was 6 weeks old when the only time that I met him. And so when that situation happened, life is so beautifully poetic. So my girl at this time, my oldest daughter's mom's, she's Muslim. And I mean like Muslim, like speak Arabic and all that.
Hajib and all that.
Her brother was in the mosque with my pop. So after the Freddie Fox incident, I'm like, whatever. And then shortly thereafter, my girl at the time, her brother called like, yo, I was in the mosque with your pops, we was praying, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay. That's why I said God wink. Something was like, yo, there's something. At the time, I'm 21 years old. I'm like, yo, next time you see him, get his number or whatever, because I always felt like, yo, I had a sister out there that I had to protect.
Right.
And try to help guide and so forth and so on. I've been in her life ever since then. And so we reconnected, and through the years, I tried to connect with him, but what I learned from my father as well is that all relationships have to be dialogue, they're not monologues. And with him, he just would stop for whatever reason when the conversation got too deep. And, I told him I forgave him. I told him, I love my pops.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm mad as fuck, nigga, because you wasn't there when my mom was counting pennies and I was watching her cry on the bed, and that shit shattered my entire being. And I'm like, I have to change this. And in my family, there's been a pattern of that.
Right.
And so I took it upon myself to say, I gotta set a new bar, so that all the males that come from this bloodline see a bar where you can't go lower than that.
Right. Mm-hmm. This is what we do.
This is what we do.
The standard.
Period.
The new standard.
And, life being what it is going to throw you curveballs, and things happen. Like my oldest daughter's mom's, God bless her soul, she passed away. Nothing could prepare you for that pain.
Right.
Having to try to console my daughter still to this day, because that's something you never get over. It's something you, I guess, learn to deal with.
Learn to function with.
And it's so crazy to me in a selfish way, because old age runs in my family. My great-grandfather passed when he was 94. My grandfather passed when he was 89. My grandmother is about to turn 93. Like, that part is normal to me. A child losing they moms at 16, 17 is not normal to me. You follow me?
Right.
And that's my own daughter.
Right.
And so fatherhood is the blessing of God. It's the creator. It's the closest that we can be to God. It's to help co-create life. But then you got to be responsible for it.
Right.
And that's the trick right there. Anybody can have a baby, but how do you be a father? So I don't judge nobody, because everybody has their own path, and you always have the power of choice at your disposal. Life is a sum total of your decisions.
That's right.
I step on your shoe. Hey, yo, da-da-da-da. You gonna put, for what? Now your ass is sitting in the cell, you know what I'm saying? You're frozen in ice. You're frozen in time thinking about this one moment.
For years.
For years.
Wishing you'd made a different
Like I could've
decision.
let it go.
You could have just did that. And so it's the same thing with, because, yo, I got 3 kids. 14, 17, 22. They're 3 different people. It's like, y'all sitting here. I could have one thing that I want to say to y'all, but you 3 different personalities.
Right.
And once you know, it's like, oh, I gotta say it to him this way, say it to him for you to get the message.
Right. There's no template for all of them. There's none.
That's what kids are.
Right.
But I had to learn that on the fly. You could read all the books, you could get all the advice.
You see what you just said, how you had that understanding? You said you forgave your father.
Yeah.
But did you ever look at it like, did your father forgive himself? He probably had to look and say,
Yeah.
I left my boy for dead.
I think that's like the deepest part of it. So my father, to this day, I love him to death. My pops, we went to see him yesterday.
That's beautiful.
But I think there's a part of him that only activates when he's in a certain mind state. Mm. And then the phone calls happen.
What you mean, Math?
Drinking.
So his love comes when he starts to drink.
I
and
think
have a
once he
little taste?
calms the voice of, you should have did this, 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 and then it might be too late. It's too late for you now.
And then he
It's too late.
calls you.
Once that voice is silenced, hey, what's up? How you doing? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna share a story with you, and it's actually in my book, and this is facts. One time, I had a beautiful female with me. We were driving down Rogers Avenue.
Ooh, before the bus lane.
Yo, it's too many Brooklyn. It's too many Brooklyn. Yo,
Let's go.
killing me. Before the bus lane and all this crazy shit.
There's a mosque on Rogers Foot or whatever.
Right there.
I got the BM 325i, right, Shane? Oh yeah. This one that was like a Wraith.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying?
And then when the M3 hit,
Crazy. I had the limo tints, the whole thing. I'm driving with this shorty. I pull up to the corner of the mosque and I look, and there's my father, in front of the mosque. Had the books, the incense, whatever, and I'm just looking, and I was 19 years old, and I couldn't understand how or why this moment was happening. What is the universe trying to tell me right now?
Right.
So I tell Shorty, I say, yo, you see that dude right there? She said, yeah, damn. And she's looking. I say, yo, that's my father. And she just lost her shit. Because I'm a spitting image of my mom.
Jesus Christ.
Like I look just like he just, you know.
Yeah.
And so she's looking and she's, oh, you're not going to roll down the window? You're not going to say? And I'm just looking. I'm going through a whole thing. And I was like, nah, skate it off. These are the type of moments that the universe has gifted me.
Right.
You understand? And I did forgive him out loud. And I told him I love him.
You said gifted. You drove off without acknowledging. How's that a gift?
I was about to ask him that.
These things add up.
Okay, from when he said
it's like
earlier,
a chip
it
at the
adds
wall.
up.
Math following.
Chip.
Understood.
No
Chip
pun intended.
You
It's
said
the
that
math.
earlier.
And eventually
My
a
fault.
little piece of light comes through
It's the
and you're
math
like,
of
oh
things.
shit.
And you have to be,
Sum total.
Right.
going back to how we were talking about the youngest, you have to be in a space to receive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A motherfucker could have the cure for cancer, but if you don't want to take it, then what good is it?
That is what it
Right?
is, yeah.
So, but the fatherhood piece is so important in our culture, in our race, in what we do. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, and I respect everyone's space,
Right.
but the universe is made of duality, male, female, plants, animals, whatever. And we have to grasp that. And when it comes to our families, you know, when I was growing up, he's one of them. I ain't know nobody who knew they pops. Kane pops, that's the homie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My man Marlon Wayans, I grew up with him. Salute, brother. Mm-hmm. That's my family. I'm an honorary Wayans. They knew they pops. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My younger brother Mitch knew his pops. That's it. Everybody else, Drew, Jeff, his pops was instrumental in my life as well. So I have father figures, but it comes a time where you like, where's the dude that I look just like? That looks like me.
Well, where's the things that I'm doing that I don't know I got from him?
It will crush your spirit to a point because you feel like you're not worthy. You feel like you don't have value. And now you're a young black kid growing up in an urban environment and you're looking for that acceptance, that love.
That history. That part. I think for me, like it was detrimental to have some sort of history. Because you go to school, what you being told? Oh yeah, y'all was naked in Africa, and then we picked you up, we brought you over here, and then you know what I mean? Like that's the history that you gotta be like, this is what I'm supposed to be proud of. Mm-hmm. So you kind of look towards the family like, what was my grandfather? What was he doing? What was my father doing? And when you don't have that, it's like you out in the streets trying to create something on your own, but lost because you don't know what direction you're supposed to go in. You don't know what talents. You don't feel, not to cut you, but you don't feel loved. Right.
And when you don't feel loved, you don't feel your worth, your value.
Right.
Can I ask you a real question?
As an individual.
Can I ask you a real question? I grew up with both my mother and my father. To this day, they both 79 years old.
That's beautiful. God bless.
Being with them, right?
Right.
But I've also been in my daughter's life for 16 and a half years, and she's 18 now. Me and her mother had a big problem during Corona, and that's how it's been going down. Do y'all ever think, and I'm not trying to offend nobody's mother or nothing like that, do y'all ever think that the situations with y'all moms could have been detriment to the situation with the relationship with you and your father? Because it goes down like that. Because me and my daughter, he'll tell you, we was thick as thieves. My daughter was supposed to be managing me at 16. She was getting calls in school about managing her father.
Right.
And she's like, Dad, well, what am I supposed to do? Call him when you get from school.
But here's the thing.
Right.
What you're saying is valid. And there is truth to that.
Okay.
But from the books and from the universe and from God, as men, there's no excuses once you produce life.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, I would say,
follow what I'm saying.
Are the laws in our favor?
Follow what I'm saying.
To fight through the excuses.
I know that there's so many things that can happen, and I get that.
Right.
I get it. You know what I'm saying? But as men, we have to walk through the fire with bare feet. Period. When it comes to our children, period.
I kind of appreciate my father's negligence. And the reason when you find acceptance for who you are and you realize your path was uniquely set like this, I look at my life and I be like, yo, if my pops is around, I might not be Math Hoffa. I like being Math Hoffa. That's cool shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so for me, it's like, it's okay, Pop. Maybe you wasn't supposed to be there. Maybe I was supposed to be just a stronger individual on my own.
But the reality is that is rationalizing trauma. And that's what we do as black people. To take your mindset back to 400 years or 500 years ago, and a man is with his wife, and they rip his wife away from him in front of his kids, and they rape his wife.
Right.
Literally, in front of him. And then take his kids and smack them around, and you go pick up the big wood, and da-da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
These things pass down through genetics. So now the next generation comes a little softer. The next generation comes a little more humble, a little softer. I don't want to buck up. And then we get to where we are now. I respect what you're saying, so I'm not trying to minimize your feelings, but that's rationalizing trauma, because here's how I look at it.
When I say rational, I wouldn't say rationalize.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what, just hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that conversation with people. Oh man, look at where you at. If your pops was in your life, I'm like, maybe I would be greater. Maybe I would be more, maybe I would have had more to pull from to be a greater person than I am now. Because I feel like this part of my life, like I said, my mom's is incredible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She did more than double duty, because she was educating half of New York all this time, taking care of all these kids and her own. But what if? We'll never know. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say rationalizing trauma, because the mind is designed that way to make sense of things so that you keep your sanity.
But this is where hold on.
Yeah.
But this is where I have to disagree with you. Rationalizing trauma. I think that a lot of the other generations did that, and they carry it. They also carry stigmas. They carry negative perceptions. And looking, no shots at my brothers and sisters, but I feel like there was an effect on them that wasn't on me.
You mean your actual blood brothers and sisters?
Yes, who spent more time around him than I did. I feel like there was an effect that happened there that I was spared.
Like what, Math?
That's interesting what you're
I'm just
saying.
curious. Like,
Okay, all right.
Mental strength or something?
Let's say there's a,
I agree.
you got a father, you understand what I'm saying, right? If you have a father that has just any type of mental issue or addiction or anything like that, you grow up in that household, it's gonna affect you.
Gotcha.
I saw it affect my brother.
So he grew
Rest in
up in
peace,
the house.
Georgie.
So he grew up in the house with your father?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, go ahead.
But
that's a
I
little-
was
but
kind of
that- but-
spared that. I was like,
But see,
I didn't get to see that. I just heard like, oh, my pops knocked people out. That's cool. I'm gonna do it too. That's it.
That's a little different, because
You know what I mean?
if you're saying there was a specific issue, we're talking about a general issue of absence.
Right.
That's different. If you're saying, oh, my pops was this way because it's such and such, or my pops was this way because it's such and such, that's a different, or my pops came back from Vietnam and he was on heroin or whatever, and obviously, like a child is gonna be a product of their environment. So if there's an unhealthy relationship with the moms and the pops, that's what they mirror.
Right.
Most times, right?
Right.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about absence. Like the purpose of living is to be a conduit for the light, period. I don't care what nobody say. You know what I'm saying? We all go through things that people have been through things, and that's why I walk with respect, because you never know where someone's coming from.
Right.
And I've traveled this world,
He's talking about how absence actually made him a better person, and that's
Right.
true. There's a possibility. Part of the problem with us as a culture is we hold on to titles, right?
Yes.
We talk, that's my brother, so he shouldn't do this, instead of this is another human being.
Human being,
Right?
yes.
That's my
Yeah,
father.
yes.
And I don't know why he's doing that, as opposed to that man went through hell.
yeah.
And basically, I need you to push off the hell you're going through to be this title to me.
Right.
We get caught up in that way too much, and we make humans inhumane through titles sometimes.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. 100%.
But I understand what he's saying also,
No, I'm
because the
saying-
way I feel towards my kids is I could never.
Right, but here's the thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Because for every father you're talking about that's missing, you can equally talk about two-parent households where people still had trauma.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's not one thing or the other. But what we do is we get into titles and we forget to look at things in case-by-case basis.
Right. I agree with you
So
in that.
what this brother's going through with his
Daughter.
it's probably because, no offense, but it's probably because the mom is looking at things as the tropes have come down the line.
Right.
He ain't doing this and he ain't doing that. Instead of saying, let me learn who this man is individually.
Right.
Right? The thing that bonded me and my ex-wife, I always look at her as a human being that's separate of me, who has their own ideas, their own beliefs, and somehow between mine and hers, we have to make it work for the kids. But we could have easily fallen into, well, that bitch.
Yeah.
I definitely did a lot of that bitch. I ain't gonna cap. I ain't even gonna cap.
But I did a lot of that bitch. So what I'm saying is that once you start laying titles on people, you stop looking at them as individuals. Once you say he's a rapper, you stop looking at him as an individual.
As a
You miss out
person,
all
a
of
man,
the
Things that
make
come along.
him
Right,
who he
exactly.
is.
But, you said
Exactly.
rationalizing trauma, right?
Yeah.
You gotta remember, therapy is something maybe 8 years now that's been accepted in the Black community.
It's still being accepted.
Right.
But before,
But before it was like,
imagine
you
if,
crazy?
Imagine if Kane's in the early 90s said I had a therapist.
Oh my God, his career's over.
Yeah.
His career's over.
Let's go back.
Like a therapist, was you crazy? Kane's crazy.
But this is therapy.
No, but
We talk to
we're
people.
we're
and
building.
and you know what's so? Hold on.
Title.
What? Therapy.
Title. What therapy? Because you say therapist.
Right.
But if you break it down like what he was about to say, well, this is therapy. I agree.
Right.
But we're supposed to be strong. We don't need no help.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to cry.
It's not that we don't need
That's
no
not
help.
No, I'm saying that's
Perception.
the
He's talking about
perception as a
perception.
Black man. We got to be tough. A rapper that can't fight, he ain't selling no records.
Listen,
not
one
the
of the
perception on
beautiful
this show,
things
though.
about New York City. One of the beautiful things about New York City, you could take the train
Yeah.
and have the deepest conversation with a complete stranger.
Strangers.
That's so true.
That will drop jewels that they don't even know they drop. And you're like, oh man, and you get off the train,
In your life,
the 1, the
is
2, the A, the whatever. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. So I hear what you're saying, Charles, and it's valid. I guess where I'm coming from is kids aren't made by accident. Life isn't born by accident. It's intentional. So if you have an intent to do something, if you have an intent to, we're going to go do this show, oh, I forgot the lyrics. Oh, I don't have my, that's not a part, no.
Right.
That's unacceptable.
Right.
And I'm right? Am I making sense?
I'm
You with me?
Yes.
So when we have a child, it's like we have to do our best. And sometimes part of that is growth. Like some people don't know. Right? They, like me. That's why I wrote the book. I ain't had no father, and I became a father, and sometimes I'll be in the room with my kids, and they'll tell you. I'll be like, yo, how did all y'all get here? What's going on? And this and that and the other. And the other thing is, I'm not one of them pops that's like, I know everything. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I wake up, my oldest daughter, I'm like, I've never been the father of a 22-year-old
Exactly.
daughter. I don't know.
But you learned how to be one.
I'm
But you
trying
learn, right.
today.
But
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But showing yourself that grace is what makes you a well-rounded person. What
Facts.
you were talking about is having distance, because I too come from a family of 5. I'm 9 years younger than my brothers and my sister, and I look at them and said to them one day, you have yet to understand the trauma that you have survived. I had the benefit of being so much younger than you that I could
See it.
everything that you went through.
Exactly.
From young.
And so
You can see it.
that's why I don't think he's rationalizing trauma. I think it's a different thing that he's talking about. He's talking about being able to have the distance and see this affected these people poorly. And maybe I was better off at not having to go through the Vietnam of my family.
Right.
That's what he
Because,
he
I hear what
was
you're
saying.
saying.
because not everybody,
Yes, it was fair.
you're saying there should be growth, but that growth sometimes comes at the expense of the people around you.
That's true. But I think in general growth does, right? Like the math that you are today is not the math that you was 10 years ago.
That's true.
And through that 10 years, you lose people in parts because you're trying to, your point, you're trying to get to this place.
Right.
But for me, I'm talking about something specific. Fatherhood, motherhood. check that out. How is it that women just have this innate thing in them, physiologically? Most women, generalized.
Right.
Generalized.
Most women.
So
Yeah, but no, I'm gonna give you most. I'm gonna give you most. Yes.
I'm generalizing.
Yes.
But if you were to do, not a poll, but just sort of a thing,
survey.
most women, it don't even matter. They're gonna take care of that. They gonna, by hook, crook, whatever. Like a woman will sell their body to feed their child.
But dudes who rob. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Follow me. That thing there, I always go back to the divine. And what is that? What are we here for? And especially as black people, everything about our culture has been ripped away from us. Our tongue, our history, our family, structure,
Credit.
our everything, our science.
Our science, that's what I'm talking about, credit, that we invented the light bulb.
You
and
know what I'm saying?
everything's
So when
taken.
you think along those lines and then you get back to family, that's why I say, at least for myself, I don't have regrets with my father because I told him I forgave him. And I told him I loved him. And I tried to love him in the way that the situation was presented. And I know that to be true because if you had my little sister right here, right now, she'll be like, no, he was my father.
Right.
You should have brought sis with you so she could have tapped in.
Now, here's the depth to this whole thing.
Should have brought her with you.
You're playing in Raising Kane.
Yeah.
A father estranged from his son,
Yeah.
but in need of him.
Right.
How does that affect you on set?
I love dancing in those clouds because I can relate to certain parts of it and other parts of it exploring. So this goes to what you were alluding to. With that, you know, when people watch season 2, I can't give it away. I'm about to give it away.
Give it away.
No.
Give it away. Give it away.
Give it away.
Right.
That's what we're here for. When you said it. You're talking about everything.
But they'll find like some of the true reasons when you said it's strange, like how it happened that way.
Right.
And so I was saying to you, it alludes because some of it has to do with the mother. You see what I'm saying? And that's fine. I guess because of my life experience so far and the way the emotional trauma that I've gone through as a young black boy with a single black mother who walking me home from school and motherfuckers is hollering and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yo, I got to figure out how to defend this because what if somebody run up and...
Like Kane.
But I'm 7 and I'm 8.
He said like Kane. Kane
Like
gonna
Kane.
roll up on your mom.
Like that character.
Like, yo, the first thing, I got to get the knife. And the next thing, yo, I got to have a gun on me. I can't,
Right.
My mom's can't know because...
Right.
So forth and so on. That's why I say rationalizing trauma because there's no excuse. The 3 most beautiful moments in my life thus far is when I pulled each of my children out of the womb. That's when I had all the answers and no questions. And then it just went away like that.
That's tough. 'Cause those were some scary moments for me, bro.
I didn't even get the payment.
Things coming out of there, and I was like, whoa.
As soon as that purple came out, it was like, nah,
I'm looking at y'all thinking it's
nah,
different.
son, I'm out of there. That purple came out.
Our son came out with the alien head, the long back, and I was like, yo, what's going on? It was scary.
Men are
It
visual.
was scary.
It's just lean.
Men are visual. This is what y'all
Yeah, it was visual.
You're not having the moment.
No, I had a moment.
That's why she laughing.
It's just, it took me
That's
off
why she
guard.
laughing.
We don't see it on TV. You know what I'm saying?
You're bearing life.
But TV fools you.
The purple
It'd be a
came
clean
out,
baby.
dog.
No births on TV. It'd be a clean baby. Come out. Ain't nothing on them.
Yo.
Is it? You know what I mean?
Man,
Yo.
I was purple coming out of your
Bro,
baby.
purple.
You want all of that.
Violet.
You want to
son.
experience
Red.
all of that. That's
Purple's
life.
where we
Brown.
cut this whole thing
It's
off.
brown coming out.
Oh man, the purple came out.
Yo, you see how the queen is doing? This how the queen is doing. See what's happening?
But yeah, those 3 moments you had.
Perfect harmony with
No answer.
God. That's how I felt. All the answers, no questions. and then boom, there's like milliseconds. I was fortunate and blessed to be the first person to touch all of my children, look into their eyes, tell them their name. We've been playing around with them in the womb for a few months, and I'm singing to them and stuff like that.
Right,
That's all good.
Right.
But I actually got to be the first. That interaction is a reflection of God to me. God has given me a wink of, yeah, this is how it feels to create. You know what I'm saying? And you're just you. Think about the cow, the deer, the whale, the dolphin, the plant, the flower, the everything.
Right.
But dig this, man. Something that's missing in your life, something that you may have felt a need for in your life, whatever that is going to be the main things that you're going to make sure are in your children's life.
It's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's a fact.
Absolutely. That's an absolute fact.
If you feel like, this father figure is missing in your life, if you feel like someone to give you game is missing in your life, if you feel like someone to hug and cuddle you is missing in your life, whatever, that's what you're going to make sure. That's going to be your A1 duty to give that to your children.
That's
Absolutely.
a fact.
You're right, Kane.
Absolutely. You're right.
You're right.
I'll tell you something about us fatherless kids. We pick fathers. Like, it's a cool guy. Okay, one, he know how to handle ladies. We get advice from different places, and we kind of make it work.
Yeah.
But dudes with fathers get that too. Like my father didn't talk to me about chicks and all that. The dudes in my hood talked to me
That's
about,
why it takes a village.
This is what's going to do. When I wanted to get money, when I started rolling dice to try to get money, yo, bro, you need to scope the landscape. This ain't how you do it.
CeeLo?
This is what you do. CeeLo, of course. You know what
I
I'm
tear
saying?
you up, son.
So,
Yo, I would tear him
Never. But we have fathers. We have different dudes like that too. I can name many dudes from Southside that I could say, because we had a show on when I was on eight at the table, and I said, yo, my father couldn't prepare me for what I encountered in the music business. He was from North Carolina, Belvedere, North Carolina. He was a bus driver, hard-working man, but wasn't into none of this glam. He met my father. He knows my father.
Right.
Glam is no part of his body.
A and B.
Nothing. So how I live, he looks at me like, what's wrong with this dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, he has all these lofty dreams and he's accomplished this stuff, but I don't even know he worked harder, not smarter than me. Like, and it becomes a different thing with him. You know what I'm saying? So you can have people that are not your father that could feel where you're coming from and could know where you're going and can help to guide you as well. And those are just as important.
It takes a village.
It takes a village, and you have to be willing to receive that. So it's going back to what we were talking about earlier with the youngins.
Right.
You got to have an open ear because if, you know what I'm saying, an old head, OG, whatever you want to call it, they trying to give you some jewels. Yo, I've been through this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to tell you, yo, when you walk into that dark corner, there's sharp objects.
Right.
You know, you got to be willing to receive the message, and then it works.
But it was taken, I'm sorry.
For the younger generation, I think it's a thing of cats that are scared of getting old. I mean, let's like just take for example, like back in the days, you had young cats coming out as MCs with names like Big Pun, Notorious B.I.G., Big L, Big Daddy Kane. You know what I'm saying? Now, pretty much every MC that comes out is young such and such.
Or little. We've
such and such.
We've talked about this
theory. But dig it though.
That's deep.
Dig it. I mean, and I think that it's a fear of getting old because the people that's maybe 10 years older than them, they're referred to as Unc, Auntie.
Yeah.
Man, they call me Unc. I hate that shit. I'll be like this. Like, what the fuck is you talking
but let me,
about,
let me show you the beauty of that. Let me show you the beauty of Unc, the beauty of Auntie. And by the way, I hate that shit too. But still, hold on. Let me show you the beauty of it.
Right.
And the most famous one, Old Head.
Yo, old heads, bro.
Let me show you the beauty of it. You may be scared of getting old, but what you got to understand, the opposite of getting old. There's no fucking way you're gonna stay young forever.
That's a fact.
See what I'm saying? So you need to pray that you do become an old head.
Facts. You make it to the
But you don't want to be the opposite of that. The opposite of that is a fucking deadhead.
A deadhead. I was about to say that.
You know
A deadhead.
you don't think you're gonna get old? Keep on living, see what happens.
Right.
I said on a song, I said.
About that's interesting is call me OG and I'm cool with it. But you gotta let people understand that you're growing into wisdom.
Right.
When you get older, wisdom, if you're open to it, will meet you where you are. And so when you think about, I come from Gary, Indiana, murder capital of the country for 10 years running.
Yeah.
They were telling us, you're not going to live to be 25. A lot of these young cats don't think they're going to get old.
That's a fact.
That's why they are taking these monikers. That's why they're living the way they're living, because they don't have enough old heads around them to say, when you get here, everything will be fine.
Right.
Too many Jews dropped on this joint.
It's a whole lot.
You have to watch this joint over and over and over again.
Yeah, we wrapping up.
Do we want to do? Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. He has to go. Thank you, sir, for coming on the show.
It's Hoffa, trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the way you need to surf you heard.